Alright, back to show off one more TV I just got. Yeah, I already have too many now, but I had to pick it up. It's not going to be this one. This one's just a size comparison. So this has a 5-inch screen, diagonal. Here's a quarter as a reference point. Now the interesting thing is, here I'll show you the new TV I got. Even smaller. As you can see, I'll put it next to the other one actually. Give you a comparison here. Can't quite fit them. Screen size only about maybe a little bit smaller. It's hard to really do this side by side here, but this is pretty damn bulky, but look how tiny this thing is. Move this out of the way. It's really tiny. It doesn't have a built-in radio like the 5-inch TVs I have. It's got a volume on-off switch, VL, VH, and UHF, and a charging switch. I guess you can charge batteries with this. And a tuning knob. Now, the reason I got this TV is because it's the smallest TV I've ever seen. Make sure the mic is good. It's the smallest TV I've ever seen here. There is smaller CRTs. They have 1-inch CRTs inside camera viewfinders, and slightly larger ones and portable handhelds from like the early 90s. But those aren't direct view CRTs. They're like mounted vertically, and there's a mirror that shows you the display. But this is the smallest direct view CRT that I have seen. And this was made in 1990, manufactured in May. And unlike all the others, this one's not made in China. This one is made in Taiwan. And as you can see, I've made a modification. This TV did not have an external antenna jack at all. There was a mount for it on the PCB, so I guess maybe they had a model that did, but this one doesn't. It only has a headphone jack. But I took the jack off one of my 5-inch portable TVs that I'm not using and just soldered it onto this. And when I had it apart, there's a circuit board right here that has all the tuner circuits on it. That's where the antenna wire led to is here. So I soldered a wire to the main pin on this new jack on the point of the board where it connects to, and ground is connected as normal because there is a ground connection already on the board for it. And then the main PCB, which you can just barely see through the bottom of this thing. And when I had it apart, I could tell it was a quality set because everything was really small and it didn't look Chinesium at all like these other TVs. So this is actually a decent TV that I accidentally just got. So I'm going to try and change the angle of this light. So I'm going to try and plug it in. I've been charging these batteries. This one I got off eBay, but it didn't come with an AC adapter and it runs off a weird voltage. 7.5 volts. So I rigged this up. 2 lithium-ion cells should provide the correct voltage, more or less. I had to skip the middle connection here because I don't have a battery holder for 2, only a battery holder for 3 cells. And 3 is too many. So I connect this, and hopefully it'll work. I can fiddle with that wire to get it to do anything. Okay, it works. So I should be seeing static. But I'm not going to leave it on for very long because the screen size will start to sag due to voltage drop, and I haven't fully charged the batteries yet. So I'm going to connect my external antenna jack, same one I might have shown in previous videos. Plug it in the back of this thing. And yeah, screen's dark as usual because I have to set the exposure manually to prevent the screen from being oversaturated and to prevent scan lines from being visible. Even though you could the refresh rate on this one might be a little different. Anyway, I got my NES hooked up to it now. I'm gonna turn it on. Let's see if it goes in. And I gotta plug it in as usual. I thought about adding composite to this one too, but it's just too small. I don't want to break it. It's a decent set. I don't want to mess it up. I have to pull apart the board. I have to pull the board out. I pretty much have to fully disassemble it just to get to where the connections would be for this. Okay, I'm gonna turn this on now. There's a little bit of interference. That looks good. All right, now I'm gonna move the camera in a little bit here. Just a manual focus on this thing. And let's see. This is what it looks like. The overscan is actually a little bit better. There's a the batteries weren't quite at the right voltage, so the overscan is a little underdone. Once I got it already. Let me turn it up. There's a little bit of screen interference. I think it will behave a little better once I have the proper AC adapter for this thing. But as you can see, it looks really good for a TV this small. Doesn't look that bad. I don't really want to even attempt doing any kind of further changes. The antenna jack is all I really need, because without it, you really can't do anything with this at all. Because there's no analog stations, so obviously you can't pick up anything. But yeah, there you go. 3.5-inch CRT, probably the smallest that was ever really made that wasn't handheld. I mean, technically, this could be held in your hand. It had a little handle, a special little handle. Special little handle that also doubled as a battery holder. So you can just hold it like in your hand like this. You held it like this, and it would stick up out of it, and this base is detachable. There's a little tab, and this comes right off here. Should. Come on. There we go. There you go, and that's where the battery terminals are. But I'm not really going to use that, because why would I take this outside? It even has a little visor too. Came with a visor. But anyway, there you go. Probably the smallest TV I've ever found. I got this just because. I mean, it's the smallest little TV I've ever seen, and it's pretty impressive for its era. Made in 1990, so the 80s were just gone and finished when this thing was made. There it is. And while I have you here, I'm going to show off a composite mod working on the other TV. I have composite hooked up, and I will show you an example. Look how clear that is. I don't have a switch yet. I still don't have a switch yet, but I solved the brightness issue. I just added a couple diodes and a resistor to the connection that turns on the tuner. So there's a little bit of tuner output, just a tad, just enough to get the AGC to behave, but not enough to overcome this composite source that I'm using. And you won't really notice once I turn it off, and you can just barely see static. It's just barely enough to get through to get the AGC to behave. Kind of behaves a little wonky if I turn off the composite. The screen eventually returns to normal brightness here. But I will show you some text here as soon as the screen. How clear that text is. Really decent. I got the overscan dialed in just perfect too. So there you go. Composites pretty much fixed on that TV, and I just wanted to post this to show this portable little tiny TV I just got because it's small. I want to do composite, but it's just it was a pain and bitch and a half to put back together too. So there you go.